how can one make his or her community service more impactful?
I think it's important to define impact in your mind, you know, as you're about to go out and say, I want to make a difference in the world. I want to be a part of change in the world. And I think, you know, one way that you can do it, and we hear this a lot, that you can give a man a fish and he eats for a day. You teach him how to fish, he eats for a lifetime. What is the impact? The impact is much greater if you're teaching him how to fish, right? And because that's something that's sustainable. And I think that as we make choices about how to contribute and how to be a volunteer or a donor to an organization, take a look at what it is that the change that it's all about. And particularly, I say this because in many ways, you know, when there's a tsunami or there's a earthquake and it's about life and death situations, that's when the funds can pour in because people get that, you know, and that's very important. But look at the organizations that are not only dealing with the emergency relief, but really looking at rebuilding the homes, about training you know, people who've lost their livelihoods, about education, about ways that are truly going to have a sustainable impact. And I think that, and not just in a foreign country, but locally, I think we can look at that as well. I think, and then ultimately, you know, impact comes from advocating for change, and that's the hardest work in a way, looking at some of the systemic sort of issues that create inequality. I think that those are, you know, much more difficult to define and to count than to say that, you know, we rescued 100 people or that we made 100 beds for homeless people. But in a way, looking at why are people homeless and trying to work on being a part of the solutions to the root causes of poverty and inequality, I think that truly is about impact too.